doing that. You've been doing it for a while.
Right.
Clearly just in the introductions, hearing from some of you, you've been in the real estate business for 20 years, 15 years, maybe just a few years, but all of you have a lifetime of experience that you're bringing with you. And so I know that that means that you have a lot of wisdom. And what I want to talk about is how can we lean into this idea of being the CEO as a way of unlocking abundance and money flow, and really talk specifically about that as we move through this. So I'm going to be taking us through 5 keys to unlocking abundance and money flow, but I'm really wanting this to be interactive. So I'm going to be asking you lots of questions. I'm going to be giving you prompts and things to think about. And so my hope is that you will really take advantage of that. And if you don't have a journal or something to write with, definitely grab one, grab a pen, and make sure that you are, you can write some stuff down, because this is your invitation to show up, engage, playful out, be at a level 10, if that's possible. And shut off the distractions for the next 45 minutes and come with the assumption that this could be a game changer. This could be a life changer for you. And I'm going to promise to bring that kind of energy too. So just give me a yes in the comments if that sounds good. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Yes. So the other thing that I want to say is bring an open mind, because I am definitely going to present some ideas. I'm going to be talking about some things that you might kind of go, I'm not sure about that. That feels uncomfortable. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm willing to do that. But the question that I want you to ask is, will this idea, or will this thing that Alexandra is presenting, could this actually improve the quality of my life? So that's the question. That's the filter that I want you to use. And then it's up to you to decide whether, that's a yes or a no for you. The other thing I want to say is notice the synchronicities, because every time I give a talk like this, every time I'm in front of a group, whether it's in real life or on Zoom like this, synchronicities happen. Magical things come to be. I have had people who were, been waiting for months on a house to close, and it closes during the conversation that we're on. I've had people get, emails, coming through about new people joining their teams, new clients showing up, money kind of going through their electronic transfer systems on the background. All sorts of amazing things can happen. And not just today, but I would really encourage you to, as these ideas continue to sit and simmer inside of your experience, even over the next week, really notice the synchronicities or the evidence that starts to show itself about how this is really coming into being, how you are unlocking abundance or money flow in your own life, and then take that as evidence and then use it as momentum to continue forward. So yes, give me a yes in the comments if that works. Yes, it's 11:11 your time, and there's 11 people here together. There's the synchronicity already. I love it. We're finding it. Okay, cool. So, got multiple screens here, so I'm going to keep us driving forward. So I want to start out with a question, because if we want to bring in more money, if we want to be able to make more, earn more, give more, save more, invest more, all the mores, then we have to start by being really good stewards of our money. So one of the things that entails is just even knowing where we stand right now. What is the money situation that's going on? And you would be amazed at how many people, really cannot answer this question. So this is not something that you have to put on the chat. This is just something for you to do personally on your paper. And I want you to just write down, if you know it, and if you don't know it, then give a guess for yourself. How much money do you currently earn per month? And then over the course of a year. And just start with that. And then notice, like if you don't know that information, or you don't like what you're writing down, notice that. And then I want to ask another question. I want you to just answer this question, again, privately in your own mind. Is it okay for someone to earn $1 million a year or multiple $1 million a year doing what you do. And then just notice, like why or why not. And again, you don't have to write this into the chat, just notice that. Now I want to ask you one more question. And that is, how much do you think you are worth earning? And then notice what you write down. Notice if there's any kind of argument going on in your head about what you want to write down, but what you actually write down. Notice how all of these questions are making you feel. And if you're feeling any kind of discomfort, if you're feeling any kind of like edginess or I don't like that, just notice that and know that any of that fear is actually reflective of your conditioning and not your potential. And the goal today is really for us to shift this for ourselves, right? To shift from believing that we are limited to fully embodying and believing that we are abundant so that we can grow our business, we can make more money, we can increase our impact, we can serve more people, we can bring more people onto our teams, we can confidently own our worth, we can feel free and secure on a financial basis inside of our lives. Yes? Yes. So I just want to hear from you in the comments really quickly as we move forward. How did that feel? Like, what did you notice? What came up for you? Was that easy? Did you write down a number that you felt good about in terms of your worth? Let's hear from one or two people and just type it into the chat. I get doubtful. Yeah. So maybe there's some doubt. Maybe you're writing down a number and you're wanting it to be one level, but you're like, can I actually get there? Is that even possible?
Exactly.
Has anybody else felt that way before? I'm going to raise my hand because I know I've done that. I know I felt that way. I felt some dissonance between the two numbers, between here's what I'm actually making and here's what I think I'm worth making. That was hard, and not trying to be small-minded just because I live in a small town. Yeah. Now you could actually be more unlimited with that. Okay, so why are we here? Thank you for all the honesty in that. And for those who are on the replay, like do that exercise for yourself, notice that and tap into that. So why are we here? One of the things that I love to say is that money is an indicator of your impact. So if right now you could write that down in your journal, money is an indicator of my impact. One of the things that I really want us to do is to give ourselves permission to ask for more, to, push past that ceiling where we've been capping ourselves in terms of our earning potential and really allow ourselves to ask for more. And there's a couple, I don't know, like if you guys, love quotes, but I love quotes. And George Bernard Shaw says that it's a sin to be poor. Some of you that might be like totally resonant, and for others that might rub you. So just again, noticing that. Mother Teresa says it takes a checkbook to change the world. Again, being of impact. It's really difficult to make an impact or to give generously to others if you don't have anything to give, right? Monetarily. The Bible, 2 Corinthians verse 9 says, and God is able to bless you abundantly so that in all things you have all that you need. You will abound in every good work. And I think that's really, really powerful. I don't believe in, idolizing some sort of prosperity God, but what I do believe is that this is an abundant, unlimited world, and that God wants us to live abundantly. We came here to be fruitful and to be able to then be of bigger service because of that. So I want you to answer this question and go ahead and type it into the chat. What would your life be like if you felt powerful around money? And so just, type that into the chat right now and write that into your journal. What would your life be like if you felt powerful around money? And I'm putting it into the chat right now so that you can keep that for yourself. I want you to keep coming back to that. You may not be able to answer it completely. This may be something that you want to even take into a journal practice over the course of this week. Really digging into this, letting yourself get creative, letting yourself really ask and claim what it is that you want. So you're going to keep answering that. And I want to tell you a little bit about my own story. And the other thing I want to say here is that I do have a gift for you guys. So if you take out your cell phone and you text that number 33777, that's the number you type in, and you write the word Power Girls, I'm going to give you an abundance meditation bundle that has 2 really beautiful meditations. They're almost like activations. They're set to very beautiful, powerful, inspiring music. You can take them on a walk. You can sit and listen to them. Go get them. That's my gift to you. One of the things I think is really powerful about when we gather like this in groups is that we have the opportunities to share together and to really create a different energy through sharing our experiences, sharing our stories. And I know that our stories are often the medicine that somebody else needs to, propel them on their healing journey. And so I want to tell you a little bit about my story because I've had several, I've been, in the business, corporate world, running my own business as an entrepreneur over the past 20 plus years. And I've held multiple 6-figure jobs. I've been a 7-figure earner in the millions. I currently own my own business where I am an author, I'm a coach, and I do business strategy. And I really focus just working with women CEOs. And I have an incredibly abundant life. And Dawn knows this because she's been in my world for a while, but what I like to say is that, my life is really reflective of my beliefs, and it's reflective of what I believe I'm worth and what I'm willing to allow myself to receive. And I say that not to be boastful, but just to be completely honest as an invitation that this is something that's available to all of us. And many of you probably already live very abundant lives yourselves, but there's always a next level. And one of the things that, if I'm being, really honest here, is that this was not always the case in terms of my life. The first 20 years of my life, probably 25 years of my life, I would say that I lived with a scarcity mindset, with a poverty mindset. And I remember being around 25 years old, and I was sitting at my IKEA kitchen table in San Francisco, where I lived at the time, and I was doing my taxes. And despite the fact that I had worked 40-hour weeks, and sometimes 60-hour weeks, sometimes 70-hour weeks. When I was doing my income taxes at the end of the year, it was like I had made no money. And I mean, I had so little money that I was like getting an income credit back from the government. And I remember just thinking to myself, like, what is going on? I am busting my butt and there is nothing to show for it. And the truth is that I had all the money blocks. I had all the abundance blocks. I was giving my work away for free. I didn't have clear boundaries around my time. I was under earning. I wasn't asking for what I wanted. I was just sort of like settling for what people were giving me, all of the things. And that was, when I started to realize that, gosh, like, what is this about? Why is this the case? And when I went back into, started to do the work around my money mindset, I went back into the reaches of my memories and I think that honestly, that story, that limitation story, that scarcity story started when I was as young as 5 years old. I remember when I was in kindergarten and I was terrified of going to school, and I really just I would cling onto my mom's legs. And my sister would see me and like sprint up the stairs because she's like, I don't want to be anywhere near this, this crying fest. And she would like, get out of there. And I remember one day I had to carry my lunch money to school, and my lunch at that point cost a dime. Everybody else's lunch cost $1.10. That shows you a little bit about how old I am. But my lunch cost a dime because I was on an assisted lunch program. My family did not make enough money, and so the state, stepped in and was basically buying my lunch at a reduced cost. So I had a dime that I carried, and it wasn't like the sophisticated online systems like Choice Lunch where you go and, put in your credit card and like your child just gets lunch. It was not that. It was you carry your money to school, and if something happens to your money, you have no food. I had my dime in my pocket, was twiddling it around, and somehow managed to lose it. And I remember, being panicked. I mean, it just, you lose your cell phone around the house and you start to kind of panic. So imagine being a 5-year-old and thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to eat. I was a mess. And so I remember just starting to cry inside of the classroom. And I think my teacher at the time was probably just completely overwhelmed by life, by the 30 kids in her classroom, and she just lost it herself. And then inside of that moment, she shamed me in front of the entire class. She made me an example and told all the kids, like, you pay $1.10 and she just pays 10 cents and she can't even keep her money. And in that moment, I felt completely worthless. And I also remember feeling like, wow, I'm different than these kids. And in that moment, I chose to take on an identity around being poor, being different, not having enough. And then what happened from there was that I carried that story and continued to, look for evidence in my reality that would match up to that and confirm it for me. And got kind of like, yeah, this is who I am. And so just notice for yourself if you've ever done that. Maybe you've done that with another type of experience. So this is not about that teacher, but what it is about is that we are always at choice around what it is that we choose to believe for ourselves, right? Jenny Allen, who's a pastor, she says, we are not captive to our thoughts. And I 100% agree with that because we get to choose what we want to think. So fast forward back to San Francisco, there I am doing my taxes. And in that moment, I make a decision. If I ever want to move past broke, like I've got to deal with my money stuff. And I believe that, God works in mysterious ways in our life and always is, helping us along our path, right? Guiding us towards our purpose. And I had one of those sort of God wink moments or divine intervention moments, not too long after that experience of doing my taxes, where I had been with my boyfriend, who's actually now my husband, for about a month into our relationship. And he gave me this beautiful pearl necklace. And I remember feeling completely overwhelmed by that. Like I just didn't, it's like I went silent, I got mute, I couldn't say thank you, I didn't know what to do with it. And when you give a gift, the last thing you want is for somebody to react that way. Am I right? You want them to be like, oh, I love it, thank you so much, right? This was this amazing, romantic, loving gift, and I couldn't receive it. The next day, I like sat with myself that night. I, really dug into what was that about. And I realized that it was connected to the same dynamic of my money mindset, of my feeling of being, stuck in scarcity, of believing in lack. And that's the moment when I realized that it was about way more than money. It was really about allowing abundance into my life so that I could live a beautifully abundant life, that I could allow myself to let in the love, let in the joy, let in the community, let in the friendships, let in the purpose, let in the impact, let in the vibrance, let in the well-being, let in all of the good stuff that God wants us to live inside of our lives. So what I want to say here is that we are at choice, right? Every moment. And some of the times, like we're moving through life and we don't even realize what it is that's holding us back, right? So until we deal with all of those subconscious beliefs, until we set our minds and make the decisions and commit to doing the work, it's still going to be in the background running the show, which is why, this work and this conversation is so important. So just in your journal, I would love for you to write down or even type it into the comments, what does abundance mean to you? And I'm just noticing some of these comments too, right? I've had similar situations over in your childhood. Yeah, it's real. It's real stuff. And we get to choose what to do with it, right? And it took me some work. It took work to get over that and to realize that I don't have to accept the identity or the belief set of those around me, right? I get to choose that for myself. So what I want to walk us through today is how do we unlock abundance and money flow? How do we do this in a way that allows us to confidently own our worth so that we can grow our business, we can make more money, and we can increase our impact? And I want to lead you through these 5 steps: letting go of money blocks, getting intimate with our money, raising our financial thermostat, making space for abundance, and taking aligned action. And know that I've listed them, here in sequential order, but they're not necessarily linear. Sometimes you start in one place and jump to the next. Sometimes it's more of a cycle. So as we go through these, I want you to just, tune in and look at, what's resonant for you. So the first one is letting go of money blocks. And there's a lot of stuff up here on the screen. Maybe you want to screenshot it, take a photo, and come back to it. But I'm going to walk through them really quickly. Likely, there is something on this screen that you have done. Probably many of you could point to 2 or 3 of these that are currently inside of your reality, holding you back. We all have a unique brand of self-sabotage. There are, pretty much everything on this slide I've done at one point or another, right? Or I'm still working on my next level with it. So 1, noticing, do you limit your desires? Do you really want to go for something, but instead you say, oh, I'll just take this instead, right? Or do you say, oh gosh, like I really want to do this. And if I do that, then instead, or I really want to do this, but then the next day you're like, maybe I can't. So it's sort of like you're never really claiming what you want. Block number 2, what I call bartering with God or bartering with the universe. That could be like, hey, I really want to buy this investment property. And if I do that, then I'll just give up my gym membership, or I won't take that trip for my family, or I'll do this, right? You think you have to give up one thing in order to get another, when you could simply ask to have both, but you're limiting yourself. Another way that this shows up often is that we give our work away for free or at a discount, or we over promise and over deliver, and then we end up feeling kind of depleted and exhausted. Maybe you're just believing that you're limited, right? Instead of seeing the bigger picture. Go back to that first question I asked you around, what do you think you're actually worth earning? Did you list a number that you could feel really proud of? If not, maybe this one is here for you. Sometimes we get really, really stuck in our current reality, right? We get so focused in on the now that we actually can't see the bigger picture of what's possible. Maybe there's things that you're doing where you're just kind of doing the same program over and over and over and over, and nothing is changing. You're not getting any new results, right? And really what you need to be doing is trying a new approach that could open up the door to something different. Maybe fear is stopping you from taking action. Maybe you're being so generous with other people that you're leaving yourself for last. A lot of us moms do this. We'll make these like big breakfasts, make lunch for our kids, and then we'll like forget to eat during the day. Just an example. Maybe their drawers are stocked with all the new things, and then you open up your underwear drawer and you're like, oh, this one has holes in it. Notice that. Block number 8, capping out at an upper limit, right? Like I've had so many clients who've come to me like, I've never been able to earn more than $60,000 and I really want to cross the $100,000 mark. Are you, at an upper limit and you're not allowing yourself to earn above that because that's what you believe you can have? Are you avoiding your money? This is a huge one. Neglecting your bank accounts. You don't know. Maybe you couldn't answer the question about how much money you make a month or how much you make a year. Maybe you're just turning a blind eye to it. I've had one client who was, I mean, a multiple six-figure earner. She also had a multi-level marketing business on the side. And yet one of her biggest things was that she would just let the mail pile up and never deal with it and be late on her bills and be late on all of her stuff to the point where like it was a real issue. I've had women who've come into my Money Mastery Academy that have been, you know, $500,000, $600,000 a year earners, and this is their biggest block. They are avoiding their money. They don't understand how it flows in or how it flows out, and so whatever they earn just goes right back out, which also leads into block number 10. Some of you may have grown up with parents who were overindulgers or overspenders, and that's the pattern that you learned. It was sort of like, you know, the minute it's there, it's gone. So just notice that. If there is there one that is popping up for you. Having more than I'm just going to the comments here. Having more than I need, feeling free to help others, especially my kids. Powerful stuff. I really wish I could be here. Okay. Several. Yeah. So just notice that these are big ones. Write them down for yourself because this is work that's powerful to do. I want to talk about this financial blueprint because how is your money story limiting your business growth? It's not just with your money blocks. We haven't even gotten into money beliefs yet, but 95% of the thoughts that we have at any given moment of time are subconscious, right? We aren't aware of them. They're just like running through the background of our mind. They're all those stories, like that story that I told you, being 5 years old. Like I didn't even realize that was going on until I actually did the work and started exploring it. And I was like, wow, this is something that was very shaping for me. This is a story I picked up when I was 5 years old that when I didn't even yet have the ability to totally reason. I just assumed it was true because that's what this teacher, this, person that was an authority figure in my life told me. The experience that I had inside of my family, right? That was shaping all of those subconscious beliefs. So if you imagine you've got 60,000 thoughts a day running through your mind and 95% of them are subconscious, we're not even aware of them, they're having an impact. 5% of our thoughts are conscious, right? These are directed, creative thoughts where we're really intentional about what we're thinking. So one of the ways to tap in and really understand, where is my financial blueprint? Where is this thermostat set? And, if it's set to 68, but I want to be at 72, I'm going to have to do some things to shift that. So asking yourself, how do you currently feel about money is a really good way to tune in. When you think about your bank account, does it make you happy? When you think about, the amount of financial flow that you have in your life right now, are you feeling excited about it? Are you feeling like there's a lot of potential? Are there mixed emotions? That's going to tell you where that blueprint is right now, where things are settling in. So I'd love to even hear from you in the comments. What does that sound like for you? What does that feel like for you? And as you're thinking about that, I want you to just also, take this a layer deeper. Notice the feelings and emotions that you're feeling around money, but then also, what do you believe about money? And just start to type these into the chat right now. What did your parents or authority figures speak and feel about money or people with money? I grew up with a lot of information around, there's never enough. That's one of the comments. We don't have that. You can't buy that. We don't have that kind of money. Someone here is saying mixed emotions. This quarter, a lot of anxiety, scarcity, hopelessness. Yeah. How did money show up for your family? I had really distinct experiences. My parents divorced when I was 2. And so I would, my mom was a single mom, like we really didn't have any money. But then I would go and visit my dad in the summers and I would be with that part of my family. And it was like, we were pretty abundant. And so I remember always feeling like, oh my gosh, like I can do all these things when I'm with my dad or my grandparents, but then like the majority of the year, I don't have any. And really feeling the difference of that and the approaches to that. And there was like a lot of freedom and less anxiety, right? And not feeling so different in certain situations. So what language are you using, or what repeating patterns around money are keeping you stuck? These may be questions that you've never asked yourself. Maybe these are questions you've already asked yourself, and there's another layer to uncover. But noticing how you even talk about money. Maybe you find yourself saying things like, well, we can't afford that, instead of, well, how could I afford that? So some of these comments, we talked like we didn't have enough, but the things we own said otherwise. My parents said, always pay your bills first, and if there's anything left over, then you could do something with it. Spending everything that I make while I still have it. Scarcity because of the market, and things are out of control. A lot of things are out of control right now with the market. Yeah, I agree. It is kind of scary, right? And so it's you know, you open up, I get the Wall Street Journal every day. I look at it and I see like the stock market going like that. And it's hard not to fall into that, right? And so you have to have tools and practices and things around you to really keep you grounded and steady, so you don't buy into the fear consciousness. These are just some of the main ones that I hear from people. So I'm just blasting them out here. There's never enough. Money's hard to make. It doesn't grow on trees. People with money are greedy. Making money requires working to the point of exhaustion. Notice if you've ever said any of these. More money, more problems. I don't deserve success. I'm going to hoard my money, because you never know when a rainy day is going to come. There's a limit to how much I can earn. Money can't buy me happiness. Rich people are seldom happy. I had one client who really sabotaged herself because her parents argued to no end about money. She actually had inherited a major trust and then blew it all. And when we looked at her story and we looked into some of this programming, that was that. It was like, wow, I don't want to end up angry and unhappy like my parents. So maybe I just don't want money. And another client who would never earn, felt like she could never earn more than $60,000 a year. And once she got through my money mastery class, I mean, she's up in the, you know, multiple six figures, nearing 500,000 at this point, and has bought her own property and land. I mean, she's been amazingly successful. But what had kept her stuck was an old story that around her parents, and her dad had gone bankrupt. And, you know, people are going to come after you if you have too much money, or I don't know how to manage money. All these stories that weren't really even hers. And honestly, I don't even know if they were her parents. It was just what she made up about what they thought. Clearing that can be incredibly powerful. So this is key number 2, getting intimate with your money. When you change your relationship with money, your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions, and your feelings about money, you change your experience of having money. And one of the things that I find really powerful about this is that, you know, modern psychology, neurology has shown us that whatever we give our attention to, we give permission to shape us. And so if we're giving a lot of, you know, negative attention and negative feelings towards things, like that's shaping our experience. Mary Oliver, who's a beautiful poet, has a quote where she says, attention is the beginning of devotion. And I love that, because devotion is a powerful word. And what do you want to be devoted to? Do you want to be devoted to believing that this is an abundant, unlimited world where your potential is, and the things that you want are truly possible? Do you want to be devoted to feeling really vibrant and lit up and excited in your life? Or do you want to be devoted to feeling tight, fearful, anxious, you know, negative, all of those things? We are in a relationship with money, and people don't, you know, I think that this right here could be the game changer for you, realizing that you are in a relationship with money. And when you develop a healthy relationship with money, when you no longer have any of that negative talk around it, then you can actually start to, you know, shape your experience and change your experience in a new way. So I feel like there are so many of us on this call who believe we can still do this. We don't want to sink into a place of fear, but we get close. And then there's a bunch of comments agreeing with that. Yeah. So that's why this work is powerful. So just answer these in the comments, write them down in your journal, but let me know right now, what would your life be like if you felt powerful around money? I asked you this earlier. I want to hear from you. What would your life be like if you felt powerful around money? Just start to type that in. I want to hear, what does that sound like? What you say may inspire somebody else. What do you need to heal or let go of when it comes to money? Where do you need to hold more faith, not just rely on yourself? My life would feel limitless. I wouldn't worry. I'd feel confident and free. Yeah, beautiful. What do you need to let go of still? What is it that's still holding you back or dragging you down? Or where do you need to hold more faith? I'd love to hear that from you. Answering those questions, I think, are going to be truly powerful for you. Confidence is holding me back. Let the doubt go. Just know I got this. Yeah. So I'd really encourage all of you to continue to answer that for yourself. And key number 3 is around raising your financial thermostat. I don't know if we can mute other people, Dawn. Maybe a couple there. Okay. One of the ways that we do that is just by, again, getting into a healthy relationship with money, coming to this set point, this place of neutrality around money, where there's nothing wrong with wanting, having, spending, enjoying, giving, sharing, saving money. And for some of you, that's going to be nuanced. It might be okay to give money or share money or save money, but it may not be okay in your mind to want money. Or it may not be okay to spend money, right? So just notice that for yourself, because you got to get to a place of neutrality where you say yes to all these things. Yes, it's okay to want money. Yes, it's okay to have money. Money doesn't make me less spiritual, doesn't make me a bad person. You know, whatever the thing is that's holding you back. Money can be, you know, the thing that really allows me to do the things that I love, right? It can be the thing that encourages me to be of more service in the world, right? Whatever it is. So start to think about money as a tool to help you do your good work and to live your abundant life, right? Money is a neutral resource. One of the things I love to say is that it's just paper. It's a number in the bank. It doesn't have any emotions associated with it. As people, we transpose our own emotions and our own energy onto money. And that's where it gets a little bit like wonky. Money is really just it's a currency of exchange. And so it just simplifies commerce, right? This costs this, and and then this is what you pay for it. And it's that exchange, right? It's what simplifies things and allows it to be easy, right? There's a give and a receive there. The other thing I want to say is that money is an amplifier. So lots of people get worried about money or get uptight around money or get bogged down when we talk about money because they think that having more money is going to somehow change them. And money is not going to change you, again, because it doesn't have really any energy besides that which we give it. So, but what it is going to do is it's going to amplify what you already are. So if you're already generous, guess what? You can just be that much more generous when you have more money. So I want you to think about money as a tool. So maybe even just in your journal or right here on the comments, start to list out what are the things that money helps you with? What is some of the benefits of having more money, whether that's world travel, being able to buy, you know, all the groceries and delicious food that you want. Maybe you want to get a new car for your child when they turn 16. Maybe it's shopping for back to school clothes. Maybe it's taking that dream vacation. Maybe it's paying your taxes. Maybe it's investing in a real estate property. Maybe it's contributing to philanthropic causes. All of those things are part of the money flow. And part of us realizing that there's nothing wrong with wanting, having, spending, enjoying, giving, sharing, or saving money. So can I get a yes in the comments? So your money compass is important. Once part of coming into that place of neutrality and building that healthy relationship with money is forming your own money compass. And this is part of the work that we do inside of Money Mastery, is just really remembering that we deserve to be massively compensated for our good work that we do in the world, and that there is a purpose for our money. And so asking ourselves, what is that purpose for my money? It's probably not just to have a bunch of dollars in the bank. It's probably not honestly even about the money. At the end of the day, it's probably about the way that you want to feel, or some of the things that you want to accomplish through your life, or the things that you want to be able to do as a result of having some of that money. For me, part of my purpose for money has been around being able to be more philanthropic. As a family, we've started not a foundation or a trust, but we have a designated advisory funds account where we are able to give out of that. We've been able to give donations in the six figures as a family, and that's impactful. That's incredibly impactful inside of our community. So the other piece of my purpose for money is that I actually get to do the kind of work that I love. I get to be in relationship with people like yourself, having conversations like this that are enriching our lives. Part of my purpose for money is that I get to travel the world with my daughters and my husband, and we get to have memory-making experiences that feel really meaningful. Part of my purpose for money is that I get to create a legacy of wealth that gets to be passed down for generations. These are parts of my own purpose for money that keep me motivated and keep me on track and keep me resilient with good boundaries around things, so that I'm focused on that healthy relationship with money. So answering for yourself, what is your purpose for money? What would be the impact of having more than enough money for yourself personally, your family, or your community? And notice I didn't say just enough or getting by, but more than enough. What would your life be like, again, if you felt powerful around money? And I'm going to ask you that. I'm going to continuously ask you that, because this is a critical question. Notice it's powerful around money, right? It's not, no, I feel okay with it. It's what would it be like if you felt powerful around money? You felt empowered with money. You felt like you could trust yourself with money. What would that do for you? Okay. My clients are here early. Gotta go. Okay. I love it. Come back and watch the rest of it. So number 4, making space for money. If you want to be abundant, you have to have room to receive it, right? It's like if you've got a closet that's like so jam-packed full of clothes, like, and you can't like actually stick another hanger in that, your life is like that too. There actually has to be space for it to receive, right? Abundance and money-making opportunities are endless. They're always available to us, but we have to let go of some old beliefs. We might have to let go of some old stories. We may have to let go of patterns or ways of being that are holding us back. So what is it that you need to let go of? Again, what is holding you back? Answering that question for yourself. One of my clients, Beth, she had a story around being poor. And this was like, she celebrated it. Like it was like her family's motto. Oh, I'm proud to be poor. She made around $200,000 a year. She had a side business. She was not poor. And once she actually got rid of that belief, it was amazing what happened in the other part of the other side business that she had. It just completely blew up and expanded in the best of ways, because she realized that no longer being proud to be poor, but like letting go of that opened up the possibility for her to be excited about her abundance and to be grateful for all the abundance that was coming, and to recognize that, gosh, she could actually pay off her mortgage early. She could, fund both of her children into private schools. There were so many things that her mind opened up to when she got rid of that old perspective, when she made space for it. And that's the kind of work that, that we do inside of my Money Mastery. Okay. So key number 5, and Dawn, I think this is your favorite piece of the Money Mastery curriculum, is just taking aligned action in the general direction of your dream is what creates massive momentum and growth. And notice I didn't say like knowing exactly the right next step to follow, but the general direction of your dream. Just actually taking action, starting to get clear on what that is. And one of the things that I love to do with the students inside of my course is that we actually build what I call an abundance plan, where, you know, we tinker around inside of the business and we look at what are those best levers that we can pull that will actually propel results. And we think about, you know, how are we bringing in multiple streams of revenue? What are all the ways? What are all those abundant, amazing money-making activities that we could pour in that, and just, you know, or maybe small shifts and things that we could tweak that would actually propel results. So asking yourself these questions, because a lot of people, I think there's a lot of teachers out there that just teach this mindset piece, and that's not the way that I work. It's really, yes, there's beliefs that work. There's mindset work. Yes, there's like faith, stepping out in faith, but there's also this action piece. We are here in the 3D physical reality. We have to take action, right? We can't just like wait for stuff to come to us. We have to put ourselves out there. You know, an object in motion stays in motion, and you start to move yourself and starts to build energy and build growth and build momentum when you're in action. So asking yourself, what have you been avoiding doing that you know will yield results? What, you know, what is one thing that if you did it this week, if you did it next week, would be a big deal game changer for you? Yes. I'm just reading through some of these comments. This is a big one for me, right? Maybe some of you are saying you just even need to do some decluttering. Maybe you've got files that are, you know, from like a business that you had, you know, 10 years ago that has nothing to do with what you're doing now, that you need to just get rid of that as sort of a statement, you know, to the divine that, yeah, I'm complete with that. I'm focused here. Where do you need more congruence inside of your beliefs and your actions? Maybe you're acting a certain way, but you actually don't believe in any of your actions. And so it's sort of like, you know, there's no momentum behind it because nothing is actually lined up. Noticing that for yourself. So, I know we're almost at our time. I want to be thoughtful about that. I would love to invite you all to join me inside of Money Mastery. Dawn has graciously allowed me to put an offer in here. She's been a part of my community for over a year. I've got a special offer for you guys. It's have 3 months access to the course plus all my bonus trainings and vault. Dawn, I don't know, you can attest to that. But this is, it truly is a powerful course. And if anybody decides that they want to jump in and do this work with me, if you've been, you know, feeling called, then I would definitely invite you to do that. And anybody who signs up today will get the fast action bonus of a coaching call with me. So I'd encourage you to do that. If you signed up, did everybody sign up for the abundance meditations? If you did, then I will send the link to you through that too, because that gives me access to your emails, and then I'll forward you this link as well. But it's pretty simple, alexandratakeda.com/powergirls. So this offer is unique to you. It's not out in the world for anybody else. And I'll keep it open for the next week. So if this is something that you want, you can go check out the website. You can read about it. There are dozens and dozens of videos and testimonials on there, and you can hear all about it. If it's not for you, then that's fine too.
Can you show the
How do we
link?
sign up for them? Sure. Yeah. You're gonna let's see if I can grab it real quick and just share
I
that one.
love your meditations. They're amazing. I listened to one this morning on my walk.
It's right here. Text the number 33777, and then you just type in Power Girls and into the chat, and then it's just going to prompt you to give your name, give your email, and then you'll get the free meditation. So you guys, that's like $100 value. So go grab it. It's yours. I love to give free gifts. So this is the affirmation. Put your hand on your heart and say it with me. I'm ready for my next step, whatever that is for you, whatever that action is for you. And I would love to just hear it from you in the in the chat if you can too. I want to leave us with just a notion to commit to your growth. Be committed more to your growth and your comfort. You guys, I've been doing this work around money mindset and abundance for a long time based on, the work that I did in my own journey. And I think you can tell just from the stories I've shared that, where I started is really different than where I am because I've committed to my growth. And remembering that if nothing changes, nothing changes. And what got you here is not necessarily what's going to get you there. So doing this, I find that doing this work sometimes is about raising your income, but it's bigger than that. This really is work around claiming your inheritance of abundance in this beautiful, abundant world, that you were meant to be abundant. You're meant to thrive. God wants you to have a beautiful, abundant life. And you deserve that. You truly, truly deserve that. I would love to just open it up for any last questions. I know we're, just about at time, but if there's any questions, I would love to hear from you guys. Actually going to show. That's the actual course, but use the Power Girls link because it's any questions, you guys?
I have one. I guess this is kind of for everyone else, but what would be one thing that you would advise us to do when we're getting through our day? And our days, we're all real estate agents. We have hectic, sometimes troublesome days. Like, what's your best advice to get us out of lack and scarcity and back into abundance quickly?
I love this question. And there's multiple ideas that I have for you. Dawn, I think that you're already really good about this, but you have kind of a set routine and things that you do that actually help you to be very intentional as you start your day. I have a set of routines and things that I do. I listen to meditations. I listen to the ones that I write while I walk my dog. I have like a Bible app on my phone that I listen to because I find that, inspiring to me. That might be something that works for you or not. Journaling, just being really, really clear about your intentions and what it is that you want to be doing. I find that, a lot of the work that's inside of Money Mastery, there's a lot of different tools there that can be really helpful for just grounding, whether it's the guided meditations, journal prompts, just, ways of goal setting that we go through. So yeah, starting your day out with some sort of intentional meditative or prayer space, I think is essential. I like to move my body. That gets me back in my body and shakes off any of the fear and anxiety. So that's something that I do. And then being one of the things that I teach is around goal setting and like doing a chalkboard, getting really clear about your monthly goals. Yeah, inside of the abundance plan.
Yeah,
That is
having your sight set on where you're going instead of what's going on today, and to get re-engaged in that through the meditations, through everything that you do. I think that is so key for us to get out of that loop that we get in our head. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I get into this loop sometimes and I don't know how to get out of it. Well, I do now, but I used to not. And since I've learned, everything always just happens for a reason. It's just good. And so it's a practice for sure.
Yeah, and that's part of that, where do you need to like lean into your faith a little bit more, and still take the inspired action, right? Because it's not just about like thinking it happy, but actually having that congruence between and that harmony between the way that you're thinking about something and then the way that you're acting on it, right? And the two together are what create the momentum. So even just taking a breath moment, one of the tools that I often say is just breathing on purpose, like getting your phone and setting a timer for 5 times a day, or 3 times a day. And when the timer goes off, like literally just taking a second to do a loop of 4 breaths where you're breathing in through your nose and exhaling and just settling back into your body and asking yourself, what's the truth here? What's the truth here? Normally the fear is just sort of an anxiety spin out. But when you get back into the truth of, this is an abundant world, I've got this, I'm talented, I've got years of experience behind me. I have a community of people that I can reach out to, that I could ask for help, all the things that you can remind yourself of truth. When you get that, when you take that breath, first you can hear your two things are happening simultaneously. Like not only are you quieting your body and your brain, but then you also can actually hear what that mental chatter is that may or may not be serving you. And if it's, words or things that are taking you off into fear, that's your cue to go, stop, pause. What do I actually want to be believing here? And just that action, if you were to do that 3 times a day and just tune in, take 4 deep breaths, notice and become aware of your thought pattern, and then intentionally shift it, that's going to be dramatic in shifting your energy and your set point, not only for that day, but the days going forward, because you're literally shifting the momentum in the direction that you want it to go.
Love it. Thank you so much, Alexandra. This is so great, and we so needed this. I'm going to be doing a video. I'm going to share the recording. So anyone who missed it, had to leave early, I'll be putting the recording on my YouTube channel, and I'll share it in all of my stuff so that we have access to it.
Cool. And I would just say, if you guys want to come find me on Instagram, it's under my name, alexandra.takeda. Come find me, say hello to me, ask me any questions. Let me know how you enjoyed the meditations. If you have questions, if you want to have a conversation, just ping me. I'm here. Dawn knows I love to connect with other good humans and to be of support. If this is the kind of thing that would be helpful in your small organization or your organization, let me know, and we can look at that too. So I'm just so grateful to be here. Dawn, thank you for inviting me and allowing me to be of service. And